Bianca, is everything ready to go then? I see it's recording.
Yes, we're good to go.
All right, then I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is our first budget meeting for 2021. I welcome everyone to this. It's something new, so bear with us. Like 2020, everything's different this year, and so we're going to try this Zoom budget process and see how it works. So we'll see. It should be okay, but I'm sure there's going to be some glitches along the way. We're going to be receiving the delegations today, Council, with their input of some things that the public would like to see put into our budgets. And then we're going to be meeting at 3 o'clock for the in-person delegations. I'm not sure how many there is. I think I've seen 2 or 3 for that time slot. So we'll go through this right now, and then we'll move into that later. We'll take a recess to rejoin back at the office. So I'll remind Council of declaration of pecuniary interest if it arises. And with that, we have, for business, we have the first delegation here is Bob and Jennifer Cummings with regards to Fire Road 82. So I'll welcome you, and we did receive your email, and maybe you can add to that.
Thanks, Jim. Good afternoon and happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you as you prepare your 2021 township budget. As you pointed out, I'm Bob Cummings and my wife Jennifer. And please bear with me, public speaking is not my strong point. At my age, I'm still looking for it, by the way. I am chair of Fire Road 82 Road Association, and this road runs along northeast shore of Cashabog Lake. We have sent each of you a briefing note about our presentation. We hope you've had a chance to read it. This presentation will give you a brief overview. In the 10 years that we've been full-time residents on Fire Road 82, we've noticed a significant increase in the traffic on the road. And this appears to be due to new builds, cottage renovations, increased occupancy, and increased delivery and service vehicles. Our road is 5.1 kilometers long and serves 56 properties. Due to the increased traffic, we've had to increase maintenance. This year we spent over $19,000 on grading, gravel, and snow removal. And please note, this is not cover one-time costs such as culvert replacement. We have managed to fix 2 culverts, but there are 4 more culverts that need replacing over the next couple of years. And the estimated replacement cost of these range from $2,500 to $12,000. The one that's at $12,000 is 2.5 feet wide and 40 feet long, and I'm dating myself here. I'm talking in feet, not meters. So just, we're not asking for council to take over our road. We are asking council to follow the example of many other townships and tangibly recognize the contribution by waterfront properties to your community. Our estimate that the 56 properties in our road contribute $114,000 in taxes to HBM, and that's not counting county and education assessments. There's a total of 4,940 properties in HPM according to MPAC. 2,900 or 57% are waterfront, and most of these properties are on unassumed roads. Waterfront properties also tend to have higher assessment, resulting in higher taxes. So by our calculation, 60%, maybe even 70% of your taxpayers are on private roads. As I have said, we're not asking township to assume any roads. We are asking the township that you recognize the contribution of these properties to your tax base and allocate a sum of money to be set aside each year so that road associations can apply for grants to cover one-time costs. There are many examples already in place of other townships. So Frontenac, for example, require private roads to meet set standards to allow for fire truck and ambulance access. And they have found a fund for road associations to apply for upgrades to comply. Other townships have grants that allow for a certain amount per kilometer per household on the road. We're asking that you consider setting aside 1% of the HBM road budget for this fund. This would be approximately $15,000. As indicated in our briefing, we are happy to provide volunteers to assist with the development of policies and procedures to accompany this fund. We're also asking that the township consider making road maintenance supplies and services available to road associations on a cost recovery basis. We know that this has come before council before, and we feel that this is the time to step forward and do the right thing for the people who contribute most of your residential taxes. Just because it has never been done before does not mean it should not be done. That's the end of my presentation. So thank you for your time. Be happy to address any questions you may have.
Thank you. Yeah, your report's really well done here as far as, you've listed all the links and everything to go to. So that'll help council in the future if they want to research some of these things to see how others are doing it. And your public speaking was fine there, Bob. So I'll just open it up to council for if they need any clarification or have any questions with regards to what your ask is here, and see where it goes from there. So council, got any questions or comments? I'm not seeing any. Oh, Larry, go ahead.
Just a quick comment. First of all, I'd like to recognize the presentation. It is very well done and explains your desires very well. I live on a fire road myself on Belmont Lake, and a couple of things that I would like to pass on that may be some help, and it may be something you're already doing as well. But on my road, as in many other roads, we have permanent residents, we have occasional residents, and we have seasonal. And some roads, they break the cost down different ways. So if you're a permanent resident, automatically you pay a little bit more. So I'm not sure how you guys do it there, but it's just, I'm just offering that up as something that may be some value to you. And as far as the taxes that we collect from lakefront property owners, since day one I'm being on council, I'm the first one that will recognize the fact that there is a large tax base there, and I just wanted to recognize that. It's something that I have spoke to in the past. So again, thank you for your presentation. Very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hart, you had a question or comment?
Well, I was just going to make a statement, Jim. I know it's something that you, the mayor, have talked about for the last couple of years in terms of having a fund here where we could set aside some money for these road associations. As time goes on, I think that that's the way this council needs to move. I think these problems are only going to be exacerbated in the future. And, in terms of the sum of money, I guess that will have to be up to council to decide. But I think it's time for us to step up to the plate here and answer some of these calls from the constituents.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from council? Okay, well, thank you, Bob and Jennifer. Jennifer, go ahead.
Sorry, is there anything we can do in terms of communication with other road associations or anything? Is there any more information that you need that we can get for you?
I think what you have here is going to really help, and as far as with it being recorded and on Zoom, I'm sure there's others going to see this thing, and they'll probably be calling you to find out, what it's all about, and and that'll help as far as communicating your idea here, because it's similar to what's been brought forward before. The 1% thing is a new idea, which there's so many models out there. Terry could even, I think I've seen some things from FOCA too. So I think moving forward, there's enough for us here. And if we need any more clarification, I'm sure we'll be asking you here in the future when we do get into the budget part of this, like as far as this discussion. So,
Thank you.
okay, so seeing no other discussion here, I'll take a motion to receive this delegation, and we'll move on to the next one. Moved by Hart and seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux. Thank you, Bob and Jennifer. I think you're welcome to stay in and listen to the next part if you want, or if you have things to do, that's fine. So the next delegation we have here is Terry Reese with regards to the dock at on Peninsula Road. So welcome, Terry.
Thank you, Mayor Martin and members of council. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about this again. It's budget time, so I thought it was timely that we talk about things that are possible, and so you don't miss out on an opportunity when you're talking about allocating some funds. You would have seen some of this information before, and I thought it was important just to, as part of the budget discussion, to talk about what the dock means to the township and to the community. You'll be familiar with the story and the dock and the beach and parking area, which has been something that township has considered as part of its Parks and Rec portfolio for a number of years since they undertook a lease land use permit, I believe, or lease with the MNRF to take it over and to maintain it so that the people in the township and visitors could use the beach in particular. And there's been a number of upgrades done over the years, which have been welcome and important improvements to the parking area in particular. So it's quite a bit nicer there now. It's in great shape. I mean, people really do enjoy the beach area and the parking, and it's also meant that it's been a real draw for a lot of tourism in the community. Now, whether the residents really want to encourage tourism or not, it's a public facility where there's a boat launch there. And I can say that over 50 years, I've never seen that many boats and trailers coming in and out of that facility. So it's been that kind of a year when lots of people have been out on the water, and which has been hopefully great for some of the township businesses. And it's meant that people have been able to take advantage of Cashabog Lake, and I know the other lakes, I'm sure, were likewise busy. Now, the other lakes don't have any docking at their public boat launches, and from my discussions with the other lake associations, they really don't have any inclinations or interest to do so. This one has been there for a number of years and is an existing facility that's used, as I've mentioned, by at least 20 residents full time, and hundreds of others to launch boats and to receive visitors and for other reasons. Lots of contractors get on the lake there, and it's a facility that's highly used and is in disrepair. So I know other townships have docks at locations in their townships, and it seems reasonable that for a modest one-time cost, the upkeep is fairly modest. The same one's been there for years, and the residents in the neighborhood have managed to patch it together for many years. So I'm just asking once again for you to consider putting a modest amount of budget dollars in the budget for a new dock that's adequately sized and is a proper repair, so that the uses that are historical uses that are there can continue. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I think we've talked about this before. I will mention I've talked to the MNRF, who've got a protocol about managing this. They've certainly indicated that they are no longer in the dock business. So I know that comes up when we talk about this and in the past. The answer I don't think any of us want to have is that we'll just do nothing until it just falls into complete disrepair and rots. I don't think. If that's not the answer, then I just want to see if we can work through a way to get something in place. I've talked in the past about getting the Norwood kids to do the construction, or volunteering, or helping with the material costs. I think we can be creative about that, but I know that as a conventional kind of installation of a township asset, that your staff are familiar with what's involved and how it could happen. And if there's any way that local folks can help out we're happy to do so. I just want you to consider providing some room in the budget that would be able to accommodate making that happen. So that's all I've got to say for now.
Okay, thank you, Terry. And I'll just clarify one part there of your letter. It said about us not contacting M&R, and we have talked to M&R. Bob, I was there the day Bob was reached out to them. So there's a disconnect between departments there. I think that's all it is. But and I did see Barry disappear from the screen. I think he had to go tie his boat up, and he's back now. So anyways, Art, you had something there?
And just as Terry said, I know we've had discussions here with the M&R over this. From my point of view, in terms of if we fix the dock up, have we had discussions with the MNRF in terms of if they would still assume the liability on the dock if we did the repairs? Like they would, I mean, if we do the repairs, do we have to assume ownership of that piece?
I would imagine that's the way it would work. Bob, did you get any clarification on that?
All right, through you, Mayor Martin. No, we have requested clarification on that, and I've requested in writing information for council. So I expect that will be forthcoming.
So that'll be a part of our discussion around. Hopefully, we have it in time for you know, the next part of this in the budget. Any other council members got any questions? I see your hand there, Terry. Just a second to see if council's got any questions or comments. Seeing none, go ahead, Terry.
I was just going to say, it's a good question, Hart, and I'm annoyed as you possibly are that, you know, I tried to get some paperwork out of them too, just to see what was involved, and just because I think we all need to have eyes open, right? And it's got to be, you don't want to be buying a pig in a poke or whatever. Like, you want to know what's involved and whether it's a liability, the ongoing maintenance and that kind of stuff. So I don't, maybe Bob, you and I can talk about
that's my major theory. I have no problem in terms of, like you said, fixing the dock up or helping you guys out in any way, but it's, you know, it's what are we going to assume going into the future here is my question. So if we can get clarity on that, I think it's a slam dunk. So we'll wait and see, I guess.
So I'd offer to work with Bob if you think that's useful, or if I can be of any help. I don't want to get in the middle of it, but if there's a way to push them along, I don't know why they can't spit out some paper, but I'm happy to help if I can.
That's fine, Terry. If we may in fact have to coordinate on that. I'll stay in touch.
Okay. All right, Barry, and then Dave.
Yeah, Terry and Bob, have we got any word back ever from our MPP? You know, we do need some help here. The MNR isn't responding, so maybe we can go through our local MPP, you know, for some clarification. You know, we got some good points here, but nobody wants to assume anything.
Yeah, and that's yeah, he's going to be, we're going to be talking to him anyway, so we'll have to find out, get a straight answer on that part of it too. It's been hard with M&R, and I've told him that, you know, I've reached out to them a few times, and with what's going on, they're not in the office, and I had one time it was 3 weeks before they got back to me about Bottle Lake, so it's long gone by then. So Dave, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Terry. Thanks for your report, your submission. I think I pretty well spoke to this in the past. I support these docks. I go to many municipalities with my boat. Most of them have docks. You made the statement that you kind of made a pitch. It kind of sounded to me like you made a pitch for your dock, but we wouldn't have to spend any money on any other docks because the people you talk to don't seem to want them. But the people that talk to me on other lakes in our municipality do. So I want to make that clear distinction that when I do support them. And yes, I don't know who's liable for the dock now. We keep saying that the ministry is, I don't know where they are or not. So I think we should work through this in some good fashion and get a decent dock back there. I'm fully supportive of that. How we do that, we'll have to work together to do it. So I don't have an answer how it's going to get done, but I hope it certainly does get done. So That's,
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I didn't want or give the impression I was speaking out of turn. When I spoke about this at the HBMLA, which is the representatives that sit there from the different lakes, none of them had the inclination that there was a groundswell of support or anyone was even interested in docks at the other lakes. But I'm sure that's true, David, that there's probably others that do it. So I don't want to say that nobody else wants a dock somewhere else. But anyway, I just, to be clear, I've asked, and that's what I got from those guys.
thank you.
All right. Thank you. Is there any other questions for Terry with regards to the docks? Well, thank you, Terry. You know, we appreciate this coming in. And like I say, I don't know how this process is going to work, but it's allowing the public to come in here and more people will see it than what's usually at our meeting anyway. So we'll see what kind of support you get after we finish this meeting or when it goes online tonight. So anyways, thank you for your input here. And I'll look for a motion to receive the delegation, moved by Councillor Webb and seconded by Councillor Pomeroy. All in favor? And that's carried. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks very much. Good luck, guys. I know it'll be a tricky process, and I'll look for the line that I'm pitching. So happy to work with you, Bob. So good luck. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you. So our next delegation, I've seen here, Bianca, is it Jonathan Keeley? I don't see him on here now, but I did see someone pop up there for a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like he was having audio issues, and I haven't seen him attempt to rejoin.
All right. He didn't leave a phone number or anything because some of these people, I guess it would have been easier with the way our internet is. The phone would have probably worked for this part too. But anyways, live and learn. Is there any other delegations as part of the Zoom then that requested?
No, this is it.
Okay, that was pretty short and sweet. But so I guess the next part then would be if he doesn't come in here right now, I guess we'll take a recess until the 3 o'clock meeting. Is that what you want to see, Bob?
Yep, that's correct, Miss, until 3 p.m. in the council chamber.
That's the quickest meeting we've had.
Don't move us tonight.
You said you wanted to speed up meetings. It's all good.
Okay, so was that Councillor Ellis moving that to recess? And was that seconded by Deputy Mayor Giroux? Okay, is everybody in favor of that? Okay, Hart was the only one that wasn't, so he wants to stay here.
He wants to keep having meetings.
Okay, so we're going to resume this meeting at 3 o'clock for the in-person delegations as part of this process. We had a Zoom meeting and didn't get on there actually. So, okay, so motion to resume is moved by Councillor Pomeroy, seconded by Councillor Webb. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, so we're into our budget 2021, and this is the in-person delegation part of the thing for the public input. So, Paul?
Yeah, before we start, this gentleman wasn't able to get on the Zoom this morning.
Yeah, that's what happened.
You want to go first then instead of me? Since you missed it. Okay.
I was giving it time to.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Right.
Paul, go ahead.
I just want to thank Mayor and Council for letting me come in person today, because I don't think it would have been very pretty if I tried to navigate the Zoom. I'm going to start off on my presentation with a little bit of information that you probably already heard, but it would segue into my final request. So I'll just start by saying, like on February the 4th in 2019, I made my first presentation to this council on behalf of the 103 property owners who rely on Fish Hatchery Road, or Fire Road 18 as it's commonly called, to access their properties. I highlighted our frustration with the MNR and the municipality of that day when they turned away from their responsibility of maintaining this road. The municipality, prior to and leading up to 1996, had been responsible for the road maintenance for over 30 years. I highlighted the challenges we as a group have faced over the past 24 years in trying to maintain what has been acknowledged as and is clearly a public road. I highlighted how the Fish Hatchery Road is the only public access to the public parking lot and boat launch located at the south end of Port Oval Lake. There's a large dam at Cordova Lake that is maintained by the Crow Valley Conservation Authority to monitor and control the water levels throughout the greater watershed. There is a commercial enterprise known as Algonquin Power Corporation, which owns and operates a water tower and hydroelectric facility. Also at their site, there's historic plaques that tell the story of the Cordova gold mine, the significance of the water power on the lake that allowed the mine to run its heavy equipment, along with a brief history of the power plant itself. There's also a site about approximately halfway up Fish Hatchery Road. It's known as Cordova Falls, or Scott's Dam to many of the locals. It attracts locals and tourists alike with its ponds and waterfalls, where fishing and swimming occur, and often along with some tomfoolery and illegal camping. But all the sites mentioned are routinely referred to as things to visit, see, and use while in the municipality of Havelock-Belmont-Methuen. These sites have been routinely referred to in local tourist brochures, provincial government publications, even the municipalities' economic development and Chamber of Commerce websites. Last year, and this season especially, the Toronto Star ran stories in their tourism section about destinations to explore that are located only a few hours from the city of Toronto. I viewed it as just kind of billed as a place to escape the rigors of COVID-19. On more than one occasion, a couple of van loads of people showed up in the public parking lot and had picnics, and when they were spoken to or just asked how things were going and where they were trying to get to, they were looking for Cordova Falls, so it shows that it's a pretty popular place. They heard about it in the Toronto Star. So I don't want to labor too much on this, because a lot of those points I kind of touched on the last time in February, when it was almost 2 years ago. Now, on July the 10th, 2019, I was in attendance, as many of you were, at a special public meeting of council. MPP David Smith was in attendance to comment on a number of initiatives affecting the municipality, as well as the Fish Hatchery Road. At this meeting, David Smith, on behalf of the provincial government, made a 100% guarantee that funding was going to be made available to help with the upgrades to Fish Hatchery Road. There was no dollar amount disclosed at that meeting, just that it was forthcoming. Privately, I spoke with Dave Smith during that meeting and queried about the MNRF and their willingness to sign off the road to the municipality, and he confirmed with me that they were prepared to do so. I don't know what kind of feedback you're getting from them, but that's what he said at the time. Now, over the subsequent months from that July 10th meeting in 2019, I have spoken to some members of council, either in person at the August 12th council meeting that year, or through emails or telephone calls, when I was seeking updates and what, if any, progress has been made on the Fish Hatchery Road. In January and February of 2020, I was encouraged to see the Fish Hatchery Road was noted in the Public Works portion of the budget process for discussion. Although it was not a budget item for 2020, I was reassured by council that the project was not forgotten and the council wanted to move forward with it. I am aware that council and staff have been engaging with some other interested parties, namely MPP Dave Smith and the MNRF, in an effort to move forward. Through conversations and my own observations, I'm getting the sense that Dave Smith is a hard guy to pin down sometimes. Not to speak for council, but I feel you may be waiting, if you were waiting for a definitive answer regarding funding. I'm feeling that if council waits for grant money to become available, we could be in possibly in the next new cycle of council. I don't believe this is a project that will require a huge infusion of cash to get started. This road, in my opinion, is in far better condition than many of the gravel surface roads the municipality currently maintains. Now, in 2017, then Mayor Ron Giroux tasked the Public Works Superintendent, Brian McMillan, with preparing a budget which would reflect the cost of maintaining Fish Hatchery Road for a year. He arrived at a figure of less than $10,000. Now, this request came on the heels of a revised engineer's report that had been prepared by Engage. I think it was sometime near the end of 2017. And those figures were noted in our final report. Now, this I submit is not a huge amount of money in the large scheme of things. If improvements were required, I'm suggesting that perhaps they could be done over the course of a few years, thereby reducing initial costs. If we take MPP David Smith at his word that funding is forthcoming, and we have no reason to doubt him, would the municipality consider confirming its willingness to assume Fish Hatchery Road from the MNRF and get this project underway as a budgeted project? Everyone on council has agreed at one time or another that the issues regarding Fish Hatchery Road have been around far too long and needs to be dealt with. Our members feel the same way. Now let's finally remove the responsibility for the maintenance of this public road from the residents' shoulders and transfer it into the municipalities who are far better equipped to manage it than we are. On behalf of the Fish Hatchery Road Residents Association, I respectfully request that council includes the Fish Hatchery Road in the 2021 roads budget and approves it so any work needed can commence and the municipality can absorb it into its roads network. And that's my big request. So if there's any questions or comments, I'm glad to try and answer or listen to what you have to say.
So the process here, what we're doing today is we're receiving the delegations and opening it up to council for any questions or things to move forward, like as far as into the budget part of the process. So today it would be for clarification or any questions for you. This would be the Township Council to ask anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, I have one serious question. The bridge on the Fish Hatchery Road. Our municipality doesn't want to inherit something that's going to be millions of dollars, and the two fellows on the county council know that, and all of us know that bridges don't come cheap, and we'd be, if we took the whole thing over, we would be inheriting a master debt somewhere down the road. And once you get an engineer involved, it's sooner than later. So I don't know how we could work this out, but
Well, I don't know. I know right now the ministry, I guess, are the ones who own the bridge and are responsible for the bridge. I mean, there's many ways that you could go about at least getting started, even if you only went as far as the bridge. Because I think really that's all the township used to do, was go as far as the fish hatchery and turn their equipment around and head back then.
all the fish hatcheries on the other side of the bridge.
Well, it was mentioned by an employee who unfortunately is not with us anymore, that they used to plow that road, but they turned around at the fish hatchery. So I don't know if that, in those days, if they crossed, turned around at the buildings up top and came back down, but they went as far as the bridge, I guess, is what I'm saying. I mean, even that's a huge start. And then the issue with the bridge and from there to the parking lot is something that can be resolved at a later date.
So once we cross the bridge, we would own it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to own it.
No, and that's been the discussion with the youth exec bridge is what, we were even asking if we can go as far as the bridge.
Yeah.
And worry about the bridge after, but we don't want the bridge. That's the big thing. So,
Yeah.
I think you just commented on what I was going to speak on. There is no homes on the other side of the bridge.
I'm sorry,
There is no homes.
just me.
How many?
There's a couple of us up on the lake, but that's all. It's not a problem. I mean, there's the old fish hatchery building that somebody has converted across the bridge into a home for a cottage or home or whatever. And then there's a few further up on the lake and in a fire road to the property that are here year round. But the majority of the bulk is to the parking lot. But I mean, even if it was done to the bridge, I mean, to me, that's a huge success because and then you deal with that other section and work on it and try to consult with the ministry again, which sometimes it's an exercise of utility, but those are things that can be dealt with after that.
So when I was talking to Dave on Wednesday night, I did ask him about where it's at. And he's still working on trying to get something going as far as, and I had to clarify because he said MTO. He's working with MTO, and I said, you mean M&R? And he said, no, MTO. So I don't know what route he's going, but that's what he's been working on. But it's like, sounds like a long-term thing. I had said to him that the work that they did this summer in there with the culverts they put in and other work, it's pretty obvious that they do own it.
Yeah.
And, you know, so.
That's never been a dispute, that the ministry own it. They know they're liable for anything that goes, what happens on the road.
Yeah.
They just don't want to put any money into it.
That's it.
Thanks for the review, Paul, and refresh everybody here where we stand on the project. Last time I spoke with Dave Smith, which was probably about a month ago now, he made some comments about the upcoming budget, which is, I believe, was yesterday or today. Next week. Anyway, he was hoping there would be some information to come back. It's not only that road, there's some other projects that he's talking to the government about. And I believe our next step here will be to invite Dave here to talk to us about some of the other projects as well as this one here. So his comments were he was hoping in the budget that there would be some support to a number of the things that we're talking about. One, as I say, being Fire Road 18. Keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah, so that's where we're at anyway, Paul, as far as trying to, you know, get it moving. And Dave is a big part of it, you know, possibly. But the only other route is if we end up taking it on ourselves as a township, we'll have to come up with a plan as far as I talked to you before, like some areas do area rating, where you pay for it to get it to the standard over years. Like that happens in other municipalities. The first choice here would be for the province to come on board here and get it up to the standard that it's supposed to be, and possibly then we would be dealing with it. Right now, with where it's at, we're still trying to work with the province to be able to make something happen, and the bridge has been a big part of the discussion. Nobody wants it.
Well, I mean, like I said before, even if you went to the bridge, that was a good turnaround there. First out of the house, the second one, there's not the one across, but the one before. And, but the, I forgot, I lost my train of thought there for a second.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. It had to do with the, all of it, waiting for the grant money. I mean, I know about the area rating. I'm not opposed to it. I've talked to some of our membership. They're not opposed to it. They know that they're jacking people up. I think it's just been going, if I could just do something, let's see some movement on it. Yeah. And if you know, that's my point in the presentation was if, like David's committed some money, you know money is coming. I don't know when, I mean, that's you guys, unfortunately. But even if you could start before that, you know that the funding was there somewhere back in the woods. It was going to make its way out to you guys eventually, but that you know that you're still going to get reimbursed, I guess, or supported in some regard.
Yeah, yeah.
That we could start earlier and maybe do something about it. But anyway.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll certainly have to have our MPP and discuss this. I think all council members in his writing will have an opportunity to a Zoom meeting after the budget next week to explain any of the funding that may be coming down, and certainly be one of the questions asked. Well, is there anything that will pertain to this particular project that we want to get going here?
Yeah.
The other only thing is like, those managers here, if he has any questions for Paul.
Through
Through you, Mayor Martin. No real questions. I just on the bridge, I'm on the same weight restrictions too, to get our equipment across the bridge would be something to factor in. And as well as the width of the bridge. I don't know if a tandem would go across with a one-way or definitely not a wing. So it's, I think to the bridge would be my thought as well.
I think when it was done before, it was done by a contractor, so it wasn't our trucks in there, it was
Yeah.
I think it was drain out here or something like that, but I'm not sure. They looked after it. We can get into that part of it later. As far as the big thing is to see if we can get it moving and the budget, that's where the discussion on that part will happen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether, I mean, we've talked and know that I don't think it's a lot of money at first to get started. But I know that these engineers' reports are quite restrictive. I mean, if you'd never get anything done if you had to, I know they're done for a reason, but I mean, it just seems to be over the top, some of the figures that they come up with when they do, presentation on something.
Yeah.
So.
I think, I think the other part of our conversations that we've had through council anyway was the standards that we would bring the road to, if there's different road standards. So that was part of the conversation we had if we were to take the road on, what standard we could pick to bring the road to, which obviously would affect cost too. So.
I think that's what happened with the report, when it knocked it back to 40 feet from 60 feet, because there wasn't 60 feet in there. It knocked it down $200,000 or something like that, or 300.
Close to 3, yeah.
Yeah.
3 reduction.
Yeah. Okay, is there any other questions or comments from council?
Just a comment to Pete while we have our roads manager here. I'm not sure how familiar Pete is with that road, but maybe it's something Pete could have a real good look at. To give us some feedback of what we may have to do or what costs it may be to bring it up to a certain standard.
Sure, through you, Mayor Martin. Yes, no, I am kind of quite familiar with the road. I was out this past summer and you've done some culvert exchanges and replacements. And so, yeah, no, I am familiar with the road, Barry. And I think the report, I've been talking to John Sales through Engage Engineering. And I asked him for what level of municipal standard that they had the original estimate at. And they didn't go by any per se municipal level. They based it off our existing gravel roads, Councillor Ellis. So it was, there was no real level of municipal standard. It was just, they based it on our existing roads. So something to maybe we should be looking at a municipal standard of what level and then get another estimate for that particular road.
Sure.
Well, you've kind of said, I think council's kind of on their hat on, we've talked with Dave Smith numerous times about this. And we're under the assumption that the funding would be here by now. I don't know if this is COVID related, so it's delayed like everything else, but I know I was under the assumption that this would be coming this fall. So apologize to you. Obviously, this is something you guys have dealt with for a number of years. Just speaking for myself as a council member, I'd like to see us get it off the table as well, right? So we're looking for a resolution moving forward. I hope we get some movement on this grant, because otherwise the numbers are quite high in terms of, bringing the number I heard for rehab on that road was around over $800,000. So, without grant money.
Yeah, the new report brought it down to about 607.
Okay.
But even looking at that one, I thought, I'm not an engineer, but I just know from driving other roads in the community and looking at what they were suggesting, it was like overkill.
Yeah, no, understandable, but they set the rules at the same time too, right? So we do have to follow them. So, but just from my point of view, I know I'd like to see this off, right? I've seen you here enough times and I understand your plight, and we are working on it. And hopefully here in the next year, we can come to some kind of resolution.
Right? No, I won't hold you any longer.
Okay, well,
Thanks for
thanks,
hanging
Paul.
around till 3 o'clock.
Save your paperwork, Paul, you might need it again.
Yeah, I got lots of this week.
Paul, if you want to email me a copy of your presentation, I can put it in the file.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
If you ever want to meet up there, I'll be glad to.
Sure.
Point out stuff that I am aware of.
Yeah, yeah, no, I done some work there, so, yeah. Sure, that's great, thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
I don't know what it's about, but I don't have it on my agenda. Round Lake. It's not Maria.
Are you speaking about it at all, Bianca?
Yeah, they were gonna speak about the proposal for the dock at the boat launch, right?
Pardon me?
Did you want to speak about, if you wanted to get a dock at the Round Lake boat launch?
Yeah, I thought it would be nice, at the Round Lake Road boat launch to put a nice long bumpered floating dock that the boats may be moored. I figure a long dock that is perpendicular to the shoreline would be sailboat friendly, which is what I'm hoping for. Sailors may come in on either side of it with ease. I used to sail from the OHCC in Toronto. And they had docks like that where they run perpendicular to the shore. And they're easy to deal with as a sailor. I think it's easy I think it's the best one. Yeah. Those OHCC docks were designed and installed around 2013 or 2014, and they were aluminum truss dock. The design was by R&J Machine out of Lakefield, Ontario. The website is www.rjmachine.ca. Those docks, I'm accustomed to, they were great. And furthermore, I thought if you were to install a dock around the road, boat launch, you might consider putting a light at its end, as well as a ladder at its end for swimmers. And furthermore, that you or whoever is involved in the installation of the dock may have to move some rocks on either side of the dock. There's some large rocks in the water. One of them I waited out this morning, and actually I managed to get my phone wet, and that's why I wasn't able to participate in the Zoom meeting today. I think it's stupid of me. Anyway, so but the shallowest it seems to be when you wait out some, there is 31.5 inches approximately to a large rock, maybe about this big. But I figure if the dock were right over it, well, there'd be no problem, but it might be on the right-hand side of the dock. If you were to put in a dock just to the left as you face the lake of the boat launch, perpendicular to the shoreline, and maybe that rock might find itself just off of it to the side. So I think it would be prudent to move it underneath where the dock is, or just take it out of the water. The docks that were put in at the OHCC, I got in touch with David Molina of the OHCC, as well as his wife Katie. David said they're 6 feet wide and 16 feet long, the segments. So I figure maybe 2 to 4 segments would be good there. We could do some discussion about that. I'm waiting to hear back how many they actually have at the HCC. It was a nice arrangement, so I could get back to you when I find out about that. But I figured 2 to 4 segments would be 32 to 64 feet. Should be nice there. And then sailors as well as motorboaters and PWC users could use the dock as well, along with swimmers and perhaps even anglers too. Just have to be careful with hooks, of course. That's it. That's all. I thought it would be really nice to have a dock there, because I like to sail and I hope to sail there as my parents. They live just nearby on County Road 46, or 1118. So when I visit them, it'd be fun to grab them on the boats and walk around lake. I live in Marmora.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would be interesting to the powers that be and desirable, but I certainly hope so.
Well, we had a delegation just before you this morning about docks on a different lake, and so there was some discussion going on. I figured that maybe we haven't seen that. Wanted if we were going to talk about docks. But we have talked about docks here in the past, and I'm sure there'll be some discussion on the budget here in the future here. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I haven't heard of a 64-foot dock. That's bigger dock than we were talking about, but
yeah, I don't know if that's appropriate for that lake. I should find out. I wasn't able to find out from David today how long that dock is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 64 feet long. You actually see there are 2 of them, I believe. But that's a sail club. It's the Outer Harbor Centerboard Club.
I would think if you got 2 sections that long, you'd almost be over the other side of Anderson Road, and then you'd have a bridge. So,
there's one at Mag's Landing. It's a floating dock. I don't know if you've seen that. It's in Marmora, and I don't know if it's made out of plastic. It might be a kind of modular is the right way of describing it. Like it's like comes in pieces that all piece together, and it comes off, and it's basically like a boot shape.
Right.
So it's not bad, but a dock like that wouldn't be. I don't think it would be super for sailing. It would do. Somehow I thought a perpendicular dock would be better. One of those, not very much room on that dock, so space for 2 boats, I think maybe. Yeah, 2, maybe 3.
all right. Well,
or 4.
like I said earlier, that's what we're doing today, is taking in some information from the public, and we'll probably, we'll be reviewing it as we move through the budget.
Okay.
And it's nice to know where your thoughts are.
Thank you very much for giving me a listen.
Okay, no problem.
I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
So, thank you, that's good.
You're welcome. Sorry, is there an appropriate way that I should defer to you somehow? Like, is there a title that you hold as mayor? Worship?
Bill.
Yeah.
Go on, Bill.
Bill Jim Martin?
Yeah.
Bill?
Just send it to council. Just send anything to council, and then we'll all get it. Okay?
Thanks very much, Bill.
Yeah, moved by Deputy Mayor Rose, if we receive it, seconded by Councilor Palmer. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're my council. Recording. Anyways, so is there any other delegations in the outcome? This would be confusing. Over recording. Anyways, I'm sure there'll be more things come forward as we move through the budget. So, all right, so if there's nothing else then, I'll take a motion to. Yeah.
You're stretching?
Yeah, you just stretching there?
Yeah, I'm stretching it. Can you see it?
All right. So, motion to adjourn, moved by Councilor Palmer, seconded by Councilor Ellis. All in favor? And that's carried. All right, thank you.